Well, we normally have one of our newspaper editors joining us for us to go to the front pages of what some of the newspapers have. We also have Nicole Kente in a couple of moments with what's happening in the back pages of sports in, I think it's the Witness newspaper. But first, the Herald. Good morning to you. For those who read the Herald newspaper, here is what Nelson Mandela Bay municipality is looking like for you this morning. Their top story, cracks starting to show in the Bay Coalition. Now, Rochelle de Kock, the editor of the Herald newspaper, has been talking about this for some time. The UDM is threatening to withdraw from the unity government. This comes less than a month after the coalition unveiled its strategy document and labelled itself the government of local unity. Now, to remind you, how many local government coalitions are we talking about? In the Herald, it's made up of the ANC, NA, AIC, AIM, UDM, DOP, Good and PAC. Keep up with the acronyms. South Africa forming a coalition back in November and with the support of the PA. There's one more for you. The group has a combined 60 seats in council. But here is where it gets a little trickier. If the UDM withdraws its support, the coalition will not be able to pass any item in the council without the help of the councillors on the back benches. And this has been what some of the critics have been saying about multi-party politics in the country. Coalitions are great until somebody doesn't like somebody else. And if the first somebody doesn't like everybody else and they have the numbers, then that first somebody stops everybody else from not doing what they want to do. You see what happens? See how tricky it gets? Okay. Also, still with the Herald this morning, a beautiful photo. We go back to the Herald quickly of the Nobel Peace Prize laureate Desmond Tutu. I love that photo. I think that's probably the iconic kind of photo that we're all going to remember of Desmond Tutu, that smile. And you know what they say, that you can't hear a picture? I guarantee you, if you take a look at that picture, you can hear Desmond Tutu laugh. I know you can. I can do it as well. Then at the bottom of the Herald, before I move on, Christmas Day babies, 240 of them arriving in the province down in that part of the world where you can buy the Herald this morning. 240 Christmas Day babies. Merry Christmas to all those new mums as well. All right, the Herald, let's go over to the Star newspaper, and this is to prove my point even more. Take a look at their front page this morning. Can you hear it? I know you can. A week of mourning for the Arch. October 7th, 1931 to December 26th, 2021. What a full life the Arch had. Tributes pouring in, and the Star focuses on that with family and friends going to visit their home down in Milnerton. But the Star also picking up on the alarming number of road deaths. Crash near Carltonville among the countless accidents on SA roads. It seems to be, once again, the issue we talk about every single year, yet nothing seems to change. And the Star picks up on this. One is the drinking and driving. Two is the reckless speeding as well that we see on the country's roads. And yet again, every year we're told the authorities are going to get a grip on this. But the authorities can only do so much. In the end, it's up to all South African drivers to obey the rules of the road. It's the high speed and the drinking and driving, and sometimes there's a combination of that which results in that. And before I move over from the Star newspaper, not to say that it's province versus province as far as babies are concerned, but over 400 babies born at public hospitals on Christmas Day. In Gauteng, the province blessed with 403 new bundles of joy being delivered at public health care facilities as well. All right. What's happening with the Witness this morning? Shocking GBV revelations. A survey revealing that most sexual assault incidents reported in KZN happening in places of entertainment where you would expect there to be a lot more security. You'd expect that's where you can go and feel safe. But it seems that in places of entertainment, it's a problem. So what do we mean by that? Well, I'm sure you would have recognized the hat, if perhaps you couldn't see the minister under his hat and his mask, the police minister, Becky Kente, saying that most women are abused on the beaches, parks and places of entertainment, including alcohol establishments. A Snap survey in Inanda, the newspaper, saying that most people who are raped are from shebeens, as they're raped by people in shebeens. Which means it's generated by alcohol. It's still no excuse, of course, but it seems that the police are now looking at the effects of alcohol on GBV, although that's not exactly a new science, South Africa, not exactly a revelation that they've discovered down in KZN. And what's the northern suburbs hit by protests? Why is that? Because it's a bid to restore power to the northern suburbs. You can read about local residents going out to try and restore power in the northern areas of last week as well. The Witness reporting extensively on the frustration of Northdale and Copesville residents. Hope I said that right, Copesville, after they were left without power for more than a week following a fire at a primary substation. And I think that's where we're going to leave The Witness as far as the news is concerned, because we've dragged in Nicole Kente to take a look at what's happening on The Witness. It is The Witness Sport.
It is The Witness Sport, yes. I must just say, when you spoke about your GBV story, I really think Bheki needs to do so much more when it comes to gender-based violence. I mean, there are individuals who are getting launched from Pirates had an alleged gender-based violence issue, and his bail was 2,000 Rand. Now, I mean, he plays for Pirates, so 2,000 Rand is small change to him. And I feel they just aren't doing enough to safeguard our lives. They really need to do so much more, instead of pinpointing things like alcohol and blaming it on alcohol for why gender-based violence is there.
Excuse.
But it really isn't.
The punishment isn't severe enough, is that what you're saying?
Not at all.
All right. Minister Clearly, you've heard it. Perhaps you want to weigh in on that one.
Moving on to lighter things. So lots of sport happening here in the Witness Sport. I'm going to move over to the second one here that I see, which is the CAF allow overseas clubs extra week with players before AFCON finals. So what would have happened, and I think this is great for the English teams, we actually spoke about this yesterday, the players need to be released at least 14 days prior to a World Cup or tournament like AFCON as well. However, CAF has been quite kind. They've taken all the COVID-19 cases into consideration, which is, you know, good sportsmanship from their end. And instead of these players now having to be released, which would have been by the 27th of December, they are given allowance until the 3rd of January, which is great then for the English teams, because they can hold on to some of these African players that they have in their teams.
Which they rely on.
Correct.
Yeah, fantastic African players in the big Premiership division, so they need to try and keep them as long as possible. But
exactly.
That affects their results as well.
100%, that is correct, yes. And then, interesting one here with Djokovic. Djokovic in doubt for Australia. So he hasn't declared, or he's refusing to say whether he's had the vaccine or not. And hence this headline here, Djokovic in doubt for Australia.
But this is not new. They were calling him a no-vax Novak a little while ago. He's very against the vaccination, and many people were saying, but for a high-end athlete, at some point he's going to capitulate, because of the money he makes and sponsors and everything. But he seems to be digging in his heels.
100%. But I also think people need to understand that COVID-19 has been here for basically 2 years. It's new to all of us. Not everybody is going to be on the side of, let me take the vaccine. I think we should take the vaccine. We should be responsible. However, people also need to be given time to adjust their minds, get used to and understand what this really means. You know, we shouldn't take the resistance so negatively because COVID-19 is new. Perhaps a negative COVID test prior to each tournament, you know.
Would probably put authority and him at ease. No-vax Novak. It's a terrible name.
No-vax Novak.
No-vax Novak.
That is a terrible name.
All right, let's